Hollywood just got hit with a scandal so wild, even the red carpets are blushing. Nicole Kidman, the queen of elegance, the woman who once made heartbreak look poetic, has finally cracked. And this time, it's not about a movie role or a PR stunt. It's about betrayal, backstage secrets, and a certain rising country star named Maggie Baugh who might have just danced her way into the middle of Nicole's marriage. Picture this. Nicole walks into a private rehearsal room, and what she sees freezes her on the spot. Keith Urban, her husband, her rock, her muse, standing way too close to Maggie, whispering something that definitely wasn't about guitar chords. Cameras off, microphones off, but somehow the story leaked. Was it a kiss? A creative collaboration gone wrong? Or Hollywood's latest cover-up waiting to explode? Sources claim Nicole was shattered, screaming, crying, demanding answers, while Keith's team rushed to bury the footage. But when the Queen of Calm finally breaks her silence, you know something seismic is coming, because if Nicole Kidman is speaking, it's not gossip. It's war. And tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on what really happened with Maggie Baugh. It all started quietly, the way every Hollywood storm begins, with whispers, glances, and denials. For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were seen as that couple, the perfect blend of art, faith, and fairy tale love. They were the glossy magazine cover dream that made people believe Hollywood marriages could actually survive. But in 2025, that image began to crack, and the name that started echoing through the gossip blogs was one no one expected: Maggie Baugh. Maggie wasn't just another singer on the rise. She was young, magnetic, and dangerously talented, a country violin prodigy who'd been gaining traction on social media for her fiery performances. And when Keith Urban, the legendary country icon himself, decided to mentor her, fans thought it was a wholesome, artistic collaboration. "It's just music," Keith had said in one radio interview, flashing that signature charming grin. But now, people aren't so sure because, according to multiple anonymous sources, that mentorship had more rehearsal hours than any tour in Nashville history. Late-night studio sessions, private hotel meetings, and off-the-grid performances started popping up, all under the banner of creative chemistry. Then came the incident, according to one insider, allegedly a member of the sound crew. Nicole walked in unannounced during a closed-door rehearsal at a private studio in Los Angeles. What she saw, they claim, wasn't just a duet. The source described Nicole's reaction as a mix of disbelief and heartbreak. In their words, "She froze for 10 seconds before she could even breathe. It was like watching her world collapse in real time." And just like that, the queen of poise and grace became the center of Hollywood's most explosive rumor. The press didn't waste a second. Within hours, tabloids like The Daily Scoop and Starwire had splashed headlines. Nicole walks in on Keith Urban and Maggie Baugh. Intimate moment turns ugly. The internet exploded. Memes, theories, fan wars, you name it. Some fans rushed to defend Keith, claiming it was a frame job. Others insisted Maggie had been flirting her way up the industry. But what really made this story detonate was Nicole's silence for nearly 2 weeks. She vanished. No red carpets, no interviews, not even a sighting from paparazzi. Her team issued a brief statement saying, "Nicole is taking time to focus on personal matters," but that only fueled the fire. Hollywood insiders started whispering that she'd left their Nashville mansion. Some claimed she was spotted crying outside a hotel in Sydney. Others said she'd flown to New York to stay with her sister. Meanwhile, Keith was on damage control mode, performing at charity events, flashing smiles, and pretending nothing had happened. But people noticed something off. During one televised performance, fans swore he looked distracted, glancing off stage as if expecting someone who never arrived. The comments flooded social media. "Keith looks guilty AF. Bro, can't sing through the guilt. Where's Nicole? Why is Maggie suddenly opening for him?" And that's where things got messy, because Maggie Baugh, the woman everyone was accusing, didn't stay silent either. She posted a cryptic Instagram story, a simple black screen with white text that read, "Some people love drama more than music." Within minutes, it went viral. Her followers split in two, some defending her, others calling her a homewrecker. But here's where the story takes its first dark twist. A source from within Nicole's inner circle leaked what they called emotional evidence. Allegedly, Nicole had found text messages between Keith and Maggie that were far from innocent. One of them reportedly read, "You make me feel alive again, even when I shouldn't." Another supposedly said, "Let's keep this between us." For the sake of the music, of course, the messages have never been publicly confirmed. But that didn't stop every talk show and gossip channel from dissecting them, like Gospel. Entertainment hosts began asking, was it an affair? Was it emotional cheating? Or just Hollywood overreacting again? But if there's one thing we've learned from Tinseltown scandals, it's that smoke always means fire, because the day after those texts allegedly surfaced, Nicole was seen leaving her home with what looked like packed suitcases and no wedding ring. Fans online began a campaign called #StandWithNicole, flooding her social media with messages of support. Even celebrities began weighing in. One anonymous A-lister reportedly told Pop Blast magazine, "Nicole deserves better. She's too classy to be treated like that." The tension reached boiling point when someone, and we still don't know who, leaked a 15-second audio clip allegedly recorded in that same studio session. In it, you can hear Keith's voice saying, "We shouldn't be doing this," followed by a woman's laugh eerily similar to Maggie's. The clip spread like wildfire before it was mysteriously deleted across platforms. Some claimed it was fake, generated, while others swore it was the smoking gun. And in the middle of it all, Nicole Kidman, the woman who's mastered silence and grace, finally decided to speak. Nicole's silence finally broke on a cloudy Thursday morning, and when she spoke, she didn't whisper. She detonated. In a rare sit-down interview for Vogue Confidential, Nicole Kidman dropped what the tabloids are now calling the Hollywood confession. Her tone? Calm but deadly. Her words? Pure cinematic precision. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. Every sentence felt like a dagger dipped in elegance. I've learned that sometimes, she began softly, you can love someone so deeply that you miss the moment they start slipping away. Boom, the internet went nuclear. Viewers froze the clip, dissected her facial expressions, and clipped every second for TikTok theories. Comment sections turned into crime scenes. One user wrote, "She's talking about Keith. Look at her eyes when she says slipping away." Another said, "This woman's heart is broken on camera." And y'all still calling it acting? Y'all still calling it acting? But what no one expected was the second half of her statement when she quietly added some relationships and long before anyone finds out why. That one line turned into a viral hashtag. Hashtag before they find out why. Within hours, Twitter, or X as it's now called, exploded with theories, leaks, and so-called receipts. Fake insiders started popping up everywhere, each claiming they knew what Nicole really saw that night. One viral thread, allegedly from a former production assistant, painted an even darker picture. According to this anonymous user, the incident wasn't just about intimacy, it was about betrayal and manipulation. Maggie was pushing for a duet with Keith to launch her solo album. The post read, she used emotional closeness to secure her spot. Nicole wasn't just hurt, she was blindsided. The post gained over 1.2 million views in a single day. Meanwhile, paparazzi footage showed Keith and Maggie leaving a Nashville hotel at 17 a.m., both in baseball caps and oversized hoodies. The caption on Daily Star Online read, "Caught in the act," or just running from it, Keith's PR team immediately denied it. They were discussing a charity project, they claimed, but fans weren't buying it because, in the same breath, a leaked hotel receipt began circulating online, showing private room service for two, champagne and dessert, 156 a.m. Was it real? No one could confirm. Did it matter? Not at all. The court of public opinion had already reached its verdict, and Maggie, well, she decided to fight back. In an emotional Instagram live that lasted 37 minutes, Maggie tearfully addressed the rumors. "I am not the reason for anyone's marriage problems," she said, was shaking. "Keith and Nicole are legends. I respect them both. What people saw or think they saw is just a misunderstanding." But the internet wasn't in a forgiving mood. Comments flooded her live session. "If it's a misunderstanding, Why were you alone with him past midnight? Girl, you played the violin, not the victim. We've seen this movie before. And it never ends well as the online chaos grew. Nicole's close friends began speaking out anonymously. One told the Insider Buzz, Nicole has been dealing with humiliation quietly for months. What she saw that night was just the final straw. Another said, she's not seeking revenge. She's seeking closure, but then, the twist no one saw coming. An alleged set of leaked text messages from Maggie's phone surfaced on Reddit. The messages appeared to show her bragging to a friend about turning Keith's attention. One read, it's complicated, but he gets me way more than she does. Another, he said he's never felt this free before, whether fabricated or not. Those texts reignited the fire. Hashtags like #MaggieGate and #Justice for Nicole started trending. Major gossip channels ran hour-long specials dissecting every word. Even talk show hosts jumped in. One jokingly said if Keith wanted a duet, he should have tried counseling, not country chords. Behind the scenes, though, something more serious was happening. Insiders whispered that Nicole had quietly met with her legal team, not to file for divorce, not yet, but to review her financial holdings and shared assets. Translation, she was getting her chessboard ready. Meanwhile, Keith's publicist scrambled to keep the narrative afloat. There's no affair, they insisted. Keith and Nicole are working through personal matters privately, but you can't bury a scandal. That's already turned into a wildfire, especially when a new clip, yes, another one, began circulating on TikTok. This one allegedly showed Keith and Maggie backstage, holding hands briefly before a performance. The moment was subtle. Blink and you'll miss it, but the internet didn't miss a thing. Under the clip, one fan commented, you can delete the footage, but you can't delete the energy. And that's when the energy shifted entirely. Nicole stopped hiding. She appeared at a charity gala in New York, radiant, calm, and, most importantly, without her wedding ring. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, reporters begged for a statement. She simply smiled and said, sometimes silence says more than words ever could. That single sentence became the quote of the week. But what the audience didn't know was that, behind that calm exterior, another layer of the story was about to unfold, one that involved blacklisted journalists, a buried video file, and a PR cover-up so elaborate that even Hollywood veterans were stunned. And when the truth finally began to surface, it wasn't just Keith and Maggie's reputations at stake. It was the entire industry's credibility. The next 48 hours turned Hollywood upside down. What started as whispers about an affair had mutated into a full-blown conspiracy involving deleted footage, silenced employees, and a trail of money that no one could explain. The bomb dropped when the Midnight Ledger, a notorious gossip blog known for receipts that ruin careers, published an expose titled, The Deleted Session, What Nicole Saw in That Studio. According to the article, a member of the studio's security staff had leaked fragments of CCTV footage before it was wiped by higher-ups. The footage allegedly showed Keith Urban and Maggie Baugh in a dimly lit recording room, standing close to close as they whispered to each other. Then came the frame that set the internet on fire, Keith brushing Maggie's hair back from her face, and her hand resting on his chest. The footage was grainy, but not enough to kill the story. Within hours, #StudioGate began trending across all platforms. Fans demanded answers. News anchors debated whether the video was real or deepfaked. Lawyers started throwing around words like defamation and breach of privacy. But Nicole, she stayed eerily quiet. According to a leaked email chain obtained by Page 12, Nicole's team was instructed to maintain silence and let the narrative destroy itself. That move was genius because while Keith and Maggie scrambled to control the chaos, Nicole transformed from the heartbroken wife into the wronged queen, reclaiming her throne. And then, the lawsuits began. Multiple tabloids reported that Nicole's attorneys had sent formal inquiries to both Keith's management and the studio that handled Maggie's recordings, allegedly. Nicole's camp wanted access to deleted files, and email correspondence, claiming her emotional image was being exploited for commercial gain. Translation: she was coming for blood, elegantly but ruthlessly. Meanwhile, Maggie's career began to crumble in real time. Sponsors started pulling out. One major brand released a statement saying, "We are pausing all partnerships pending internal review." Her upcoming tour dates quietly disappeared from her website and on social media. She went dark. No posts, no stories, nothing. Rumor had it she'd fled to her hometown in Florida, where she was taking time to reflect. But insiders say she wasn't reflecting. She was negotiating. Apparently, she'd hired her own PR crisis manager to broker a mutual understanding with Nicole's team before things got uglier. And that's when the voice memo leaked. An anonymous email sent to multiple outlets contained a 28-second audio clip labeled private. In it, a woman's voice, allegedly Nicole's, could be heard saying, "You lied to me in my own home. Do you know what that does to a person?" Then came a male voice, sounding suspiciously like Keith's. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. The clip ended with silence. Long, haunting silence. No outlet dared to verify it, but it didn't matter. It was enough to reignite the firestorm. Hashtags like #NicoleSpeaks and #KeithExposed dominated the internet. Fans began revisiting old award show clips, looking for signs, the cold glances, the distance, the smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. And in the background, something even more shocking was brewing. A whistleblower from inside Keith's record label came forward, claiming executives knew about the affair months before the story broke. It was an open secret, they said, but Keith's reputation was too valuable to let crumble. They alleged that when Nicole found out, the label's PR division paid to have security footage and certain digital communications erased. The whistleblower even claimed hush money was offered to the studio employee who witnessed the confrontation firsthand. If true, this wasn't just a love triangle, it was corporate corruption covered in romance perfume. Hollywood went into meltdown mode. Talk shows compared the scandal to classic celebrity implosions, Brangelina 2.0, Affairgate. Reloaded, country chaos. Every headline screamed betrayal, greed, and damage control. But in the midst of the noise, Nicole made one final move that no one expected. During a charity event broadcast live on national television, she took the stage, calm, radiant, and devastatingly composed. The audience fell silent as she adjusted the microphone and said, "There's strength in knowing when to walk away. There's peace in not explaining yourself to those who were never listening." The room erupted in applause. Cameras zoomed in on her face, tearless, glowing, unbothered. That clip became the moment. As she walked off stage, journalists whispered that this was her soft announcement, the unofficial confirmation that her marriage to Keith Urban was over. Within 24 hours, multiple entertainment outlets reported that Nicole had begun preliminary discussions regarding separation. A spokesperson from Keith's camp declined to comment, and Maggie. Sources claim she's considering leaving the music industry indefinitely. One insider said she's been receiving threats, hate mail, and suffering breakdowns. It's the price of playing in the dark. One journalist wrote, "The scandal, now dubbed the Nashville betrayal, has become more than just gossip. It's a cultural phenomenon. Think pieces are being written about loyalty, fame, and the illusion of the perfect marriage. Late-night comedians are cracking jokes. Podcasts are producing 6-part series with titles like Strings Attached, The Maggie Baugh Scandal, but behind all the chaos, one truth remains: Nicole Kidman came out of this not broken, but reborn. She turned public humiliation into quiet power. She let the world expose itself while she stood still. And as one anonymous friend put it, Nicole didn't lose Keith, Keith lost Nicole, and that's a tragedy money can't fix. The scandal might fade, the headlines might die, but the message remains carved in stone. Even in Hollywood, where everything's fake, heartbreak is always real. And as for Keith Urban and Maggie Baugh, well, they may have made beautiful music together, but it's Nicole Kidman who's now playing the final note. And there you have it, Hollywood's most polished secret finally cracked wide open. Nicole Kidman, the woman who's built a career on perfection, grace, and emotional restraint, suddenly standing in the middle of a storm she never asked for. Or did she? Because if you look closely, really closely, you'll realize this isn't just about a friendship or a kiss. This is about power, loyalty, and the kind of truth that only slips out when the cameras stop rolling and the wine glasses start cling. So, tell me, was Nicole protecting her marriage? Or just her image? Was Maggie Baugh a victim of Hollywood's manipulation machine? Or the spark that lit a fire Nicole couldn't control? And most importantly, what is Keith Urban really hiding when the microphones go off and the stage lights dim? Drop your thoughts below because, trust me, this story is far from over. The truth about Nicole, Maggie, and Keith is unraveling faster than anyone expected. And next week, we've got footage that'll make this look like a warm-up act. You're watching Lumi Legacy, where we don't chase clout, we chase chaos. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the next revelation, it's going to break the internet.